Imagine waking up at 40 and realizing one decision in your 20s changed everything about your financial future. Meet Ethan. His dream wasn't freedom. It was earning the biggest paycheck anyone around him had ever seen. Meanwhile, Olivia had a completely different goal. She wanted money working for her instead of only working for money. Both were smart. Both worked hard. But only one understood what actually creates long-term wealth.
At 23, the difference between their choices looked almost invisible, and that's exactly why most people miss it.
Every raise made Ethan happier, and every celebration convinced him he was winning the race.
Every month, she quietly bought another tiny piece of productive assets. One chased income, the other quietly built ownership. Those sound similar, but they change lives very differently. Because salaries pay today's bills, while assets can continue paying you long after today's work is finished.
Ethan upgraded his apartment, his car, and almost every part of his lifestyle with each promotion.
Olivia upgraded something invisible instead. She increased the percentage of every paycheck she invested.
Time became her greatest employee, showing up every single day without asking for a paycheck. Meanwhile, Ethan accepted longer hours because bigger salaries usually demanded bigger responsibilities.
Olivia still worked hard, but every investment slowly reduced how dependent she remained on one employer. Neither path looked dramatic after 1 year, which is why patience becomes such a powerful advantage.
The biggest financial transformations rarely happen overnight. They happen through thousands of ordinary decisions.
And that's where their stories truly begin, because the next 5 years reveal what small choices eventually become. 5 years passed faster than either Ethan or Olivia expected, and suddenly their choices started producing very different results. Ethan now earned more money than he ever imagined, and everyone around him admired his impressive career. Olivia's salary had grown too, but something else had quietly grown alongside it every single month. Compound growth doesn't make headlines at first, because its greatest strength is patience rather than speed. Most people quit before compounding becomes exciting, and that's exactly why so few experience its full potential.
Although Ethan's income doubled, so did many of his monthly expenses, without him fully realizing it.
Olivia increased her investments before increasing her lifestyle, making every raise work twice as hard. This simple habit may look boring, yet boring financial habits often produce extraordinary long-term results.
Imagine every dollar hiring another tiny employee that keeps working 24 hours a day for decades.
Despite his success, Ethan still depended entirely on showing up to work every Monday morning.
Meanwhile, some of Olivia's income quietly arrived, even while she enjoyed a relaxing weekend at home. That's the hidden difference between earning money once and building something that continues earning without constant effort.
Assets don't eliminate work completely, but they slowly reduce how dependent your future becomes on active income. Vacation requests still required permission, because his income stopped whenever his work stopped too.
Olivia smiled as another investment payment arrived, while she spent time hiking with friends outdoors. Freedom doesn't appear overnight. It quietly grows every time your assets produce value while you live your life.
5 years may not seem long today, but financial momentum can completely change what the next 20 years look like.
And the next chapter becomes even more surprising when life throws both Ethan and Olivia an unexpected challenge. Then something happened neither Ethan nor Olivia had planned for. The economy suddenly slowed, and certainty quickly disappeared. Businesses reduced hiring, companies froze promotions, and headlines filled every screen with uncertainty and fear. For the first time in years, Ethan realized even an excellent salary couldn't guarantee complete security. Olivia felt concerned too, but years of investing had quietly built a stronger financial foundation beneath her. Notice something important. Neither person avoided the crisis. They simply experienced it very differently.
Every monthly bill suddenly felt heavier because his lifestyle depended entirely on one source of income. Some investments dropped temporarily, yet others continued producing income exactly as they had before.
Diversification isn't about predicting the future. It's about surviving whatever future actually arrives.
Financial resilience grows when your income comes from several places instead of only one paycheck.
Ethan realized he had spent years increasing his income, but very little increasing his financial independence.
Olivia wasn't wealthier because she earned dramatically more. She simply owned more productive assets. Ownership changes everything because assets continue creating value even when your daily schedule changes unexpectedly. Markets may rise and fall, but productive assets have historically rewarded patient owners over long periods.
Instead of buying another luxury upgrade, Ethan finally began questioning every financial decision he made.
She reminded herself that temporary declines often create opportunities for disciplined long-term investors. The strongest financial habits aren't tested during easy years. They're tested when uncertainty becomes everyone's daily reality.
Eventually, the economy began recovering, but both Ethan and Olivia emerged from the experience with completely different lessons.
For Ethan, the crisis changed his thinking. For Olivia, it confirmed everything she'd been quietly building for years. The recession eventually ended, but Ethan's biggest change wasn't in his career. It was in the way he thought about money.
Instead of asking how to earn another raise, Ethan started asking how to buy his first real asset.
Nobody begins with a huge portfolio. Everyone starts with one small decision. Start small, stay consistent, and let time do the heavy lifting.
Many people believe investing requires enormous wealth, but consistency usually matters far more than size.
Small amounts invested consistently often outperform big plans that never actually begin.
So Ethan automated his first monthly investment, making the decision once instead of every payday.
She knew habits become much stronger when they happen automatically, without relying on daily motivation. Automation removes emotion, and removing emotion often leads to much better long-term financial decisions.
Every automatic investment quietly became another promise to Ethan's future, instead of another forgotten intention. Months passed, and for the first time, Ethan became excited about ownership instead of expensive purchases.
Watching Ethan change reminded Olivia that financial education can transform lives at any stage. The best investment strategy isn't the perfect one. It's the one you'll actually continue following for decades. Successful investing usually looks surprisingly ordinary while it's happening, but extraordinary when viewed years later.
Soon, Ethan noticed something unexpected. Building wealth actually reduced much of the financial stress he once accepted.
She smiled because confidence often grows quietly, long before wealth becomes visible to everyone else. That's when Ethan finally understood a powerful truth. Wealth isn't built by income alone. It's built by ownership.
Once you understand that difference, every financial decision begins pointing toward a completely different future.
But the real reward wasn't becoming rich. It was gaining choices, confidence, and control over the future they wanted. 10 more years quietly passed, and now the difference between Ethan and Olivia could no longer be hidden by appearances. Both had successful careers, but their daily lives now looked remarkably different because of decisions made years earlier. Although Ethan had become a senior executive, his calendar remained packed from morning until late every evening. Olivia still enjoyed working, but now she worked because she wanted to, not because she absolutely had to.
That's the moment assets begin giving you something far more valuable than money. They give you options.
Financial freedom rarely means doing nothing. It simply means choosing how your time is spent every day.
Years ago, Ethan believed wealth meant earning the biggest salary. Now he understood freedom mattered much more.
Because her investments continued growing, Olivia could confidently reduce her working hours without sacrificing security. When assets pay part of your expenses, your paycheck becomes a choice instead of a lifeline. Even ordinary weekends felt different because Olivia never carried constant anxiety about next month's bills anymore.
Inspired by Olivia's example, Ethan's investments had also grown steadily over the previous decade.
She smiled because teaching someone else to build assets felt even more rewarding than growing her own. Knowledge multiplies when you share it with others.
The greatest return on investing isn't always measured in dollars. Sometimes it's measured in peace of mind.
Financial confidence grows quietly until one ordinary day you suddenly realize fear no longer controls every decision. Looking back, Ethan wished he had started earlier, but he felt grateful he hadn't waited any longer.
Olivia reminded him that the best time to plant a tree had already passed. The second best time was today.
Your future only needs today's decision to become different.
That simple lesson continues changing lives because every generation gets another opportunity to begin building assets.
And as Ethan's confidence grew alongside his assets, one final lesson would completely redefine what success truly meant. With dedication and passion, we can achieve anything.
Mentoring the next generation is incredibly rewarding. He discovered confidence grows naturally when your future no longer depends entirely on a single monthly paycheck.
Her investments continued growing quietly in the background while she focused on creating lasting value for others. And that's
Eventually, both friends understood success isn't measured only by income. It's measured by the life that income makes possible. The richest moments often happen away from offices, markets, and bank accounts because memories become life's greatest dividends.
Looking around one peaceful afternoon, Ethan finally felt successful, long before reaching every financial goal he once imagined.
Olivia smiled because she'd learned true wealth feels less like luxury and more like quiet peace every ordinary day.
Perhaps that's why people who build assets often end up collecting something even more valuable than wealth: lasting freedom.
But before we finish, there's one final lesson that completely changes how you should think about your 20s today.
Eventually, Ethan realized the greatest investment return wasn't more money. It was getting his time back. Money can purchase many things, but every hour you spend can never be earned a second time. Years earlier, Ethan missed birthdays because work always came first. Now he finally had room to choose differently.
Olivia had always believed wealth should improve life itself, not simply increase the numbers inside an account. That's the hidden purpose of assets. They create space for relationships, health, learning, and meaningful experiences.
Every productive asset quietly buys back tiny pieces of tomorrow until those pieces become entire days and eventually years.
No, thank you. Ethan, great, we were just brainstorming.
With financial flexibility, Olivia launched a small educational project simply because she believed it could help people. Financial freedom isn't escaping work. It's choosing meaningful work without fear, making every decision for you.
So what does Ethan and Olivia's story actually mean for you if you're in your 20s right now? Your 20s aren't the decade when you need to become rich. They're the decade when you build the foundation.
Your biggest financial advantage isn't a high salary. It's having decades for compounding to quietly do its work.
Remember, Ethan eventually built wealth too, because he chose to change instead of staying stuck forever. You're right, I can do it.
The story was never about perfection. It was always about making better decisions, one step at a time. Don't compare your beginning to someone else's finish. Compare today's choices with yesterday's choices instead. Every book you read, every skill you learn, and every dollar you invest becomes another asset for your future.
Assets aren't only investments. Your knowledge, reputation, health, and relationships are valuable assets too.
When these assets grow together, they create opportunities that money alone could never possibly buy. Looking back together, neither wished they'd bought more expensive things. They cherished the choices they had created.
One decision won't transform your future overnight. Thousands of small decisions absolutely will.
That's why consistency beats intensity almost every single time when building long-term financial independence.
If you're earning your first paycheck, you're not late. If you're 29, you're still not late either.
The important question isn't when you started. It's whether today's decision moves you forward instead of backward.
Ethan smiled because he finally understood success wasn't measured by salary. Olivia smiled because she'd known that all along.
Your future self won't remember every paycheck. Your future self will remember every wise decision you made. And maybe that's the greatest secret of wealth. It quietly begins long before anyone else notices it growing.
Now let's finish with one final message that could completely change the way you think about building wealth forever.
If you remember only one idea from this story, let it be this. Assets quietly create the life your salary alone never can. Your salary rewards the hours you worked yesterday. Your assets continue rewarding the decisions you made years ago.
Neither Ethan nor Olivia became wealthy overnight.
They simply allowed years of consistent decisions to work together.
It took patience.
The future doesn't suddenly arrive one day. It quietly grows through the ordinary choices you repeat every single week.
Imagine your future self looking back 20 years from now and thanking you for starting before everything felt perfect.
Because waiting for the perfect moment usually means missing the years that matter most for compounding.
Ethan eventually realized his greatest promotion wasn't another job title. It was gaining genuine financial confidence.
Olivia discovered true wealth wasn't collecting possessions. It was collecting meaningful moments with people she loved. Money is simply a tool. The life it allows you to build is the part that truly matters in the end.
Every investment, every skill, and every healthy habit becomes another brick in the future you're quietly building today.
Together they proved financial freedom isn't reserved for extraordinary people.
It's built through ordinary habits repeated consistently. Whether you're 20, 25, or 29, your greatest financial advantage is still the years ahead of you.
And if you're older, remember Ethan's lesson. Starting today will always outperform waiting another year. Your future wealth isn't hidden inside tomorrow. It's hidden inside the choices you make after watching this video. One book, one investment, one new skill, or one better habit could become the decision that changes everything. If this story inspired you, don't let inspiration fade. Turn it into action before today comes to an end. Subscribe for more stories that help you build wealth, think differently, and create a better future, one decision at a time. Your future starts today. Build assets, stay consistent, and one day your older self will thank you for beginning now. I'll see you in the next story.